Joseph tells his brothers who he is. Joseph couldn't control himself anymore in front of all of his attendants. He cried out, "Have everyone leave me." So, there wasn't anyone with Joseph when he told his brothers who he was. He wept so loudly the Egyptians heard him. Everyone in Pharaoh's house heard it. Joseph said to his brothers, "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" But his brothers weren't able to answer him. They were too afraid of him. Joseph said to his brothers, Come close to me." So they did. Then he said, "I am your brother, Joseph. I am the one you sold into Egypt. But don't be upset. And don't be angry with yourselves because you sold me here. God sent me ahead of you to save many lives. For 2 years now, there hasn't been enough food in the land. And for the next 5 years, people won't be plowing or gathering crops. But God sent me here ahead of you to keep some of you alive on earth. He sent me here to save your lives by an act of mighty power. So then it wasn't you who sent me here, it was God. He made me like a father to Pharaoh. He made me a master of all Pharaoh's entire house. God made me ruler of the whole land of Egypt. Now, hurry back to my father. Say to him, your son Joseph says, God has made me master of the whole land of Egypt. Come down to me. Don't waste any time. You will live in the area of Goshen. You, your children and grandchildren, your flocks and herds, everything you have will be near me. Then I will provide everything you need. There are still 5 years to come where there won't be enough food. If you don't come down here, you and your family and everyone who belongs to you will lose everything. My brothers, I am Joseph. You can see for yourselves that I am the one speaking to you. My brother Benjamin can see it too. Tell my father all about the honor given to me in Egypt. Tell him about everything you've seen. And bring my father down here quickly." Then Joseph threw his arms around his brother Benjamin and wept. Benjamin also hugged him and wept. Joseph kissed all his brothers and wept over them. And after that, his brothers talked with him. The news reached Pharaoh's palace that Joseph's brothers had come. Pharaoh and all his officials were pleased. Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Here's what I want you to tell your brothers. Say to them, load your animals, return to the land of Canaan. Bring your father and your families back to me. I'll give you the best land in Egypt. You can all enjoy the good things in the land. And here's something else I want you to tell them. Say to them, take some carts from Egypt. Your children and your wives can use them. Get your father and come back. Don't worry about the things that you have back there. The best of everything in Egypt will belong to you." Then the sons of Israel did so. Joseph gave them carts, as Pharaoh had commanded. He also gave them supplies for their journey. He gave them new clothes, but he gave Benjamin more than 7 pounds of silver. He also gave him 5 sets of clothes. He sent his father 10 male donkeys, loaded with the best things from Egypt. He also sent 10 female donkeys along with grain and bread and other supplies for his journey. Then Joseph sent his brothers away. As they were leaving, he said to them, "Don't argue on the way." So they went up and out of Egypt. They came to their father Jacob in the land of Canaan. They told him, "Joseph is still alive. In fact, he is the ruler of the entire land of Egypt." Jacob was shocked. He didn't believe them. So they told him everything Joseph had said to them. Jacob saw the carts Joseph had sent back. They gave a new life to their father Jacob. Israel said, "I believe it now. My son Joseph is still alive. I'll go and see him before I die." Jacob goes down to Egypt. So Israel started out with everything that belonged to him. When he reached Beersheba, he offered sacrifices to the God of his father Isaac. God spoke to Israel in a vision at night. "Jacob, Jacob," he said. "Here I am," Jacob replied. "I am God. I am the God of your father," he said. "Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt. There I will make you into a great nation. I will go down to Egypt with you. I will surely bring you back again. And when you die, Joseph will close your eyes with his own hand." Then Jacob left Beersheba. Israel's sons put their father Jacob and their families in the carts that Pharaoh had sent to carry him. So Jacob and his whole family went to Egypt. They took their livestock with them, and they took everything they had acquired in Canaan. Jacob brought his sons and grandsons with him to Egypt. He also brought his daughters and granddaughters. He brought his whole family with him. Here are the names of Israel's children and grandchildren who went to Egypt. Jacob and his whole family are included. Reuben was Jacob's oldest son. The sons of Reuben were Hanok, Palu, Hezron, and Carmi. The sons of Simeon were Jemuel, Jamin, Ohad, Jachin, Zohar, and Sho. Sho was the son of a woman from Canaan. The sons of Levi were Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. The sons of Judah were Onan, Shelah, Perez, and Zerah. But and Onan had died in the land of Canaan. The sons of Perez were Hezron and Hamul. The sons of Issachar were Tola, Pua, Jashub, and Shimron. The sons of Zebulun were Sered, Elon, and Jehiel. These were the sons and grandsons born to Jacob and Leah in Padan Aram. Leah also had a daughter by Jacob. Her name was Dinah. The total number of people in the family line of Jacob and Leah was 33. The sons of Gad were Zephon, Hagi, Shuni, Esbon, Eri, Arodi, and Areli. The sons of Asher were Imnah, Ishva, Ishvi, and Beriah. Their sister was Sarah. The sons of Beriah were Heber and Malkiel. They were the children and grandchildren born to Jacob and Zilpah.
Laban had given Zilpah to his daughter Leah. The total people in the family line of Jacob and Zilpah was 16. The sons of Jacob's wife Rachel were Joseph and Benjamin. In Egypt, Asenath had Manasseh and Ephraim by Joseph. Asenath was the daughter of Potipharah. Potipharah was the priest of On. The sons of Benjamin were Bela, Becher, Ashbel, Gera, Naaman, Ehi, Rosh, Muppim, Huppim, and Ard. These were the sons and grandsons born to Jacob and Rachel. The total number of the people in the family line of Jacob and Rachel was 14. The son of Dan was Hushim. The sons of Naphtali were Jahziel, Guni, Jezer, and Shillem. These were the sons and grandsons born to Jacob and Bilhah. Laban had given Bilhah to his daughter Rachel. The total number in the family line of Jacob and Bilhah was 7. The total number of people who went to Egypt with Jacob was 66. That number includes only his own children and grandchildren. It doesn't include the sons' wives or his grandsons' wives. The total number of members of Jacob's family who went to Egypt was 70. That includes the 2 sons who had been born to Joseph in Egypt. Jacob sent Judah ahead of him to Joseph. He sent him to get directions to Goshen, and so they arrived in the area of Goshen. Then Joseph had his servants get his chariot ready. He went to Goshen to meet his father Israel. As soon as he came to his father, Joseph threw his arms around him. Then Joseph wept for a long time. Israel said to Joseph, "I have seen for myself that you are still alive. Now I am ready to die." Then Joseph spoke to his brothers and to the rest of his father's family. He said, "I will go up and speak to Pharaoh. I'll say to him, 'My brothers and the rest of my father's family have come to me. They were living in the land of Canaan. The men are shepherds. They take care of livestock. They've brought along their flocks and herds and everything they own. Pharaoh will send for you. He'll ask, 'What do you do for a living?' You should answer, 'We've taken care of livestock from the time we were boys. We've gone and done just as our fathers did. It's the practice of the people of Egypt not to mix with shepherds. So, Pharaoh will let you settle in the area of Goshen." Joseph went to Pharaoh. He told him, "My brothers and father have come from the land of Canaan. They've brought along their flocks and herds and everything they own. They are now in Goshen." Joseph had chosen 5 of his brothers to meet with the Pharaoh. Pharaoh asked the brothers, "What do you do for a living?" "We are shepherds," they replied to Pharaoh. "And that's what our fathers were." They also said to him, "We come to live in Egypt for a while. There isn't enough food anywhere in Canaan. There isn't any grass for our flocks. So please, let us live in Goshen." Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Your father and brothers have come to you. The land of Egypt is open to you. Let your father and brothers live in the best part of the land. Let them live in Goshen. Do any of them have any special skills? If they do, put them in charge of my own livestock." Then Joseph brought his father, Jacob, in to meet Pharaoh. Jacob gave Pharaoh his blessing. Then Pharaoh asked him, "How old are you?" Jacob said to Pharaoh, "The years of my journey through life are 130. My years have been few and hard. There aren't as many of the years as my father and grandfather before me. Jacob gave Pharaoh his blessing, then left him. So Joseph helped his father and his brothers make their homes in Egypt. He gave them property in the best part of the land, just as Pharaoh directed him to do. That part was known as the territory of Ramesses. Joseph had also provided food for his father and brothers. He had provided for them and the rest of his father's family. He gave them enough for all their children. Joseph saves many lives. But there wasn't any food in the whole area. In fact, there wasn't enough food anywhere. The people of Egypt and Canaan lost their strength because there wasn't enough food to go around. Joseph collected all the money in Egypt and Canaan. People paid it to him for the grain they were buying, and Joseph brought it into Pharaoh's palace. When the money of all the people of Egypt and Canaan was gone, all of the Egyptians came to Joseph. They said, "Give us food. What good would it do you to watch us all die? Our money is all gone." "Then bring your livestock," said Joseph. "You say your money is gone, so I'll trade you food for your livestock." They brought their livestock to Joseph. He traded them food for their animals: sheep, goats, cattle, and donkeys. He helped the people live through their year by trading them food for all their livestock. When that year was over, they came to him the next year. They said, "We can't hide the truth from you. Our money is gone. Our livestock belongs to you. We don't have anything left to give you except our bodies and our land. What good would it do you to watch us die? Why should our lands be destroyed? Trade us food for ourselves and our land, then we and our land will belong to Pharaoh. Give us some seeds so that we may live and not die. We don't want the land to become a desert." So Joseph bought all the land in Egypt for Pharaoh. All the people of Egypt sold their fields. They did that because there wasn't enough food anywhere, so the land became Pharaoh's. Joseph made the people slaves from one end of Egypt to the other, but Joseph didn't buy the land that belonged to the priests. They received a regular share of food from Pharaoh. They had enough food from what Pharaoh had gave them. That's why they didn't have to sell their land. Joseph said to the people, "I have bought you and your land today for Pharaoh. So here are some seeds for you to plant in the ground. But when the crop comes in, give a fifth of it to Pharaoh. Keep the other 4/5 for yourself. They will be seeds for the fields. They will be food for yourselves, your children, and the other people who live with you." "You have saved our lives," they said. "If you are pleased with us, we will be Pharaoh's slaves." So Joseph made a law about land in Egypt. It's still the law today. A fifth of the produce belongs to Pharaoh. Only the land belonging to the priests didn't become Pharaoh's. The people of Israel lived in Egypt in the area of Goshen. They received property there. They had children, and so became many. Jacob lived 17 years in Egypt. He lived a total of 147 years. The time came for Israel to die, so he sent for his son Joseph. He said, "If you are pleased with me, put your hand under my thigh. Promise me that you will be kind and faithful to me. Don't bury me in Egypt. When I join the members of my family who have already died, carry me out of Egypt. Bury me where they are buried." "I will do exactly as you say," Joseph said. "Give me your word that you will do it," Jacob said. So Joseph gave him his word. And Israel worshipped God as he leaned on the top of his walking stick.